opinions expressed on the show are those of the guests or host, and not necessarily those of the advertisers, networks, platforms, or stations. Networks, platforms, or stations. Warning that the content of the show may not be suitable for all audiences and that viewer discretion is advised. The show does not intend to provide medical, legal, or financial advice, and viewers or listeners should consult with the professional before making any decisions based on the information presented.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Vixen'S Vault. Today's date is April the 22nd, 2026. It is 9 o'clock on the dot p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and I'd like to tell Mark that he completely shortened my entry. You threw me for a loop, Mark. You threw me for a loop because you're like a recording, live and on the radio side right now, and you did not do that. Just saying, you did not. But welcome to the show, everybody. Right, here we go. I mean, it's like, what is that? Did you guys ever see The Big Bang Theory, where she's trying to get Sheldon to not be OCD anymore, and she reads like nursery rhymes, and she won't let him finish it? That's what that was like for me right there. I was like,
right now.
But there we go. Thank you very much. You just soothed my OCD. But guys, it's been a weird week, and it's interesting because I've been kind of in the chat. I've been updating all my panelists. I've been dropping different information because during the last week, another 2 scientists have been connected to this huge, weird happening of these people who work in aerospace disappearing or dying unexpectedly or very strangely, and most of them, their bodies haven't even been recovered. They're just gone. Yeah, and they're all connected through aerospace programs and technology. And it's like, actually, the White House addressed it this week. That is the most interesting thing. The White House addresses it this week. But, it's something deeper than that. A week and a half ago, I told you guys Nick Pope had passed away. Passed my condolences to his wife, who he actually moved here to the States to be with her. It was tragic. It was a big hit to the community, but we knew Nick had been diagnosed with cancer. He had made a public announcement about that. So at least we had some, I guess you could say we knew this was coming. We knew he wasn't going to come out of it. Still took a hit when he died. But then this weekend, Monday morning, bright and early Monday morning, actually it started early afternoon, started seeing some little rumors, little trippets that David Wilcox was gone. And those of us who know David and are aware of David's work, he's a very vibrant individual. He's very smart man, really intelligent guy. But not just that, he is big time spiritually aware. So, and I say that knowing what that is like, where he's not really, I don't think he's a denier of God, but he's not a real believer like Christianity and things as such. Somebody's got their speakers on.
Raph!
Rafi, hit mute.
He sees dead people.
There, he's not listening to me. Hit mute.
I muted him.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so, I mean, it was interesting because, David had actually done a podcast on Saturday.
Right now.
And he said some really interesting things in this podcast where he basically was saying, that God is within us and the Spirit is within us and never to forget these things. Like, it was weird. If he didn't show up for his next podcast to remember these things, it was almost like a farewell. And then he did a posting where he was saying he had some really, I guess, a very bad weekend is the best way to sum it up. But, things had a way of working out. It was just a very short blurb. And then next thing you know, his best friend is posting Monday afternoon saying that he's gone and that he had committed suicide per the reports. But the Denver Police Department, who were supposedly the police that responded, were refusing to release the name of the person, basically pending notification of family and friends, whatever. But it took them a good 48 hours to confirm that it was indeed David Wilcox, which it was, according to them. Again, the people that knew him are saying no. They're crying foul, 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 big time, because of the way he was, who he was. And while I'll agree with people that sometimes suicide hides itself very well, those suicidal tendencies, they can really bury themselves really well. And sometimes the happiest person is actually the saddest person. These are psychological facts, but not really with David Wilcox. Yeah. Usually with somebody, and it is really strange, but it does kind of deal with intelligence in some ways. Usually with people who are at that level of intelligence, if there's a darkness or depression there, it is incredibly difficult for them to hide because their intelligence actually won't let them hide it. To them, it would be logical to just express whatever is at the top of their head. True statement. But that being said, a lot of people are assuming, again, this had to do, maybe it mixes with Nick Pope. Well, no. David Wilcox wasn't just a ufologist and, a whistleblower and everything is such and telling us about the government projects and what he experienced and the things that he went through. No, he was more than that. He actually, he worked at Stavati Aerospace. And I'm like, guys, he didn't just work there. He was a key. He was he was the director of advanced technology at Stavati Aerospace, which it's a private corporation, but it's not a smallie. It's a biggie. And it just happens. Well, here's what gets me. And I made this connection immediately. I'm like, guys, Stavati is located at Niagara Falls. Okay? Which is where Niagara Mohawk, I believe now it's National Grid. I think if I remember right, Niagara Mohawk merged and became National Grid Power. But that power plant that is at Niagara Falls right there, where Stavati is, it was the first hydroelectric power plant in the country, and it was built by who? David, you may not actually know this. David Campione. Who built that plant? Tesla did.
Yep.
Tesla did.
Yeah, yep. AC.
Yep. And it is long been rumored that there were a lot of Tesla technologies that were in and around that area. And it did connect to actually Montauk, Long Island, and the Montauk Project. And it was really funny because, like I said, he was all about, if you ever watched what he did, what Dave actually did, he was all about NG-12, the Montauk Project. He talked about this stuff all the time.
Well, Nancy?
So, yes.
Maybe he's, I just posted this at 8 o'clock. It was from American Patriot saying these 11 scientists that are missing, they're not missing. They've been extracted to Cheyenne Mountain. Maybe David's there. There.
It's either Cheyenne or Mount Weather.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. Everybody assumes Cheyenne. I think it's Mount Weather. I think they're all at Mount Weather.
It could be S4 also.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. I do agree with that, actually. I saw that posting, Vic. And I was going to say, I was going to lead into there because it is one of the, I guess you could say, theories as to what's going on. Because we have no bodies. We don't even have David Wilcox's body, okay? It hasn't been released. There's no body. And even if it is released, I'm going to do the whole John F. Kennedy Jr. question mark above my head. Yeah. How convenient. JFK and his wife and her sister's bodies were only in the ocean for a couple of days, but they were so bloated, there was absolutely no recognizability to any of it. How easy is it to fake these things? It is ridiculous. Yeah, it is. All you need is a coroner to sign off on a piece of paper, as we saw with Judge Scalia. If any of you all believe that Scalia actually died of a heart attack at his hunting lodge, you're an idiot. I'm just going to say that. You are completely retarded. The man was a Supreme Court justice who didn't have an autopsy performed and was never, ever declared dead by a doctor. So, yeah, there's problems with the whole damn story. And it doesn't really matter if a widow says, "Oh, leave us alone." I'm sorry. When you take on a political position of power like that, the right of the family to be left alone, nope, out the window. You become basically national property. And the people of the nation deserve to know what happened. Scalia, you notice how nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. And that was straight up, completely, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was murdered. Just like I'm saying, it's crazy. You always know when something's wrong because the autopsies go wonky. I mean, everything disappears. It was like John F. Kennedy's assassination. All of the things supposedly extracted during the autopsy have disappeared. How does that happen? You don't lose a president of the United States' brain. That's how, what? What? We misplaced it. What? I mean, this is what I mean. And people are so stupid. Sure, they just, there's so many of them. Oh yeah, there's only 47 how many presidents have, what was JFK? What number was he? 35? Let's think about that. So there were only 34 preceding presidents. I'm pretty sure they weren't extracting brains for the first few, at least. So that's only a couple of brains to really keep your eyes on. And you still couldn't do it. Okie dokie. Gotcha. I mean, I know it almost sounds disrespectful.
Pathetic.
But it's when you really sit back and look at what they're trying to sell you, it's like, how retarded do you think we are? I mean, really? Do you really think we're that stupid, or are we that stupid? Because it's really becoming a question at this point. Are we that stupid?
Not much you can do about it, unfortunately. I mean,
Nope.
other than what we're talking about tonight, I mean, you're bringing it up, so that's a good point. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is I think that has also become, to me, that's almost like it's part of the game plan. That whole making people feel like, oh, what are we going to do about it? Well, what are we going to do? We can't rise up. We can't do this. Look what happened January 6th. That was the whole reason that happened on January 6th. So people would feel hopeless, not feel like they had a right to question their government. I mean, we pay for our government. Damn straight we have a right. They're not even, put it this way, they are like elected like CEO, COO. Those are the positions within government. We are the shareholders, which means they are accountable to us. Period. End of sentence. That's why when Barack Obama said, "You didn't build that, I built that," I was like, oh, let me just hold on a bit. I want to smack the spit out of the side of his mouth. Because really, because from what I can gather and the tracking I've done, your family wasn't even here when people were paying for that. So you didn't do any of it. So literally, I get so mad. But again, we've been trained that we're not supposed to question it. Even when they screw up and they tell us, like they straight up tell us, and I've been saying it for years, Ben Rich from Skunkworks, man, he has told us multiple things, multiple times, and yet it still kind of gets ignored. They do tell us. It's just I don't even understand, because somebody like John, Ben, literally his intelligence is up there. He was trusted. He worked within the black operations. So the guy was, what he was saying.
I got you, Mommy. I got you.
Oh, what are you, Ralphie? You're talking into your mic.
Sorry, squirrel attacked, or attacked Tux.
He's dealing with the cats. Sorry about that. But
I thought he got his mommy or something like that.
Molly. He was Molly. Molly. That's our little 1-year-old puppy, Miss Molly.
Is that who we hear breathing in the background?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're Miss Molly.
We're glad you're breathing. That's good. Keep breathing.
But I mean, literally, I get very frustrated. I get frustrated when, even with the shooting of Charlie Kirk, how quickly Americans move past things. How quickly they are to deny things that should be 100% questioned. I don't give a crap if the director of the FBI is saying, we're not questioning that. Well, I'm sorry, you got appointed there by, I don't know, us, and we pay your salary. So sit down, shut up, and unless something else is going on, which I have a big feeling there is, yeah, tell us what's up. Because now we have a bullet that doesn't match a rifle. We have a gunshot that killed him that should have blown the entire upper part of his body off if it was that rifle. I mean, literally, there should have been, but it was a miracle bullet. Oh, Erica, shut up. You know, God almighty. Take off some of the makeup and shut up. Only a moron would believe that. Literally. And now you've got all of the connections starting to surface. And, you know, again, they're not able to hide a lot of things. They're refusing, apparently the prosecutors refusing to turn over evidence to the defense.
Oh, was that right? Oh, I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, how is this happening? How is this working? What? And I keep thinking it's got to be leading to a gotcha moment. That's all I can think of. It has to. Because, again, too many people, I think, are actually following this now and are figuring it out. Candace Owens will not shut up. God love her for that. Because I don't think she's wrong. I do not think she's wrong. And I think Trump keeps telling everybody that her and Tucker and all these other people are idiots because he wants people who do not know things to listen to them. Honest to God. Because how does it work with that, with Trump? People hate him so much. Literally, both sides hate him so much at this point. Whatever he says, they do the exact opposite. So if he says, you know, they're idiots, they don't know what they're talking about, they're going to be, oh, they must know what they're talking about. We need to go listen to them. Hey, thank you for putting them on the same page with the rest of us. Hey, good job. Thank you, Donald Trump.
Reverse psychology.
Well, like I said, now we have New York Jews actually protesting Israel in New York. God, you can't. What? How? All because they hate Donald Trump. It is amazing. It is truly amazing. But again, I always say it. Vicky, you know me. I'll hum my hymn. It has to be this way. It has to, because there's no other way you're going to get enough people on the same page to where people are actually seeing things for what they are.
Hum it, girl. Go ahead.
We may not like it. We may not like it. We may not. It makes it very hard to defend Donald Trump sometimes because again, people are like, "Well, no, he really is. He's evil." I'm like, "No, he's really not evil. If he was, believe you me, if he was evil, he would have nuked the crap out of Iran months ago." He's playing a tap dance. We still are not boobs on ground in Iran, and we still haven't been nuked. What, do you think it's because Donald Trump is scared? No. No, it's because that was never the game plan. That's Israel's game plan.
Yeah.
But we literally have to get that dust out of there before Israel gets in there.
Right.
That is imperative because that dust has got to be traced.
Yes.
So again, people don't see it, and I know it's very hard to follow it. And if so many other things weren't manifesting that show me that, yep, this is actually really what's happening, I would be really embarrassed right now. But again, I'm seeing the fall of the big banks. That's happening faster and faster and faster. The Fed just got taken over again. It's folding. They're having to buy out oh my God, they're having to buy out the U.S. bonds bigly every month, like to the tune of ridiculous amounts of money. And people aren't even watching that. They're worried about what they're paying at the gas pump right now, which I want to smack people. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. I'm like, dude, you are paying $4.80 under Joe Biden in Florida. $4.80. We haven't even come close to that. Okay, and we won't because we got a ton of oil sitting over in Texas and Louisiana right now. I mean, it's not the only reason you're paying what you pay is because of the World Bank and the world market because they're determining prices. Once they go down, that is no longer going to happen.
For the moment, yep, yeah.
I mean, and I said it, Trump is intentionally dividing people. He's doing it intentionally. Why? Because he needs division for the military to have to take control. Why would he want the military in control? And this is what scares most people. That's why you're seeing the dismissal of a ton of military leaders right now, including the Secretary of the Navy, who got dismissed today. And also the guy in charge of our nuclear arsenals got dismissed today. Why? Why do they have to go? Because if they are even slightly loyal or slightly connected to anything deep state or World Bank, this will never work.
Right.
The only military people we can have in there are people who are constitutionalists. Mm-hmm. And we may not like some of the end result of some of this because the Constitution is pretty well written and it's pretty direct. There's not a lot of wiggle room. Mm-hmm. But right now, you cannot put, like, everybody's like, well, make the arrests already. This is ridiculous. Well, really? Because who's going to try him? The corrupt court that made up charges against Donald Trump?
Exactly.
Really? The Supreme Court, who seems to think they're supposed to make law when that is nowhere in their definition?
Oh, they already made indefinite detention and assassination of U.S. citizens legal.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But that's under the NDAA, which is what? Not legal.
Right.
So, again, there's a huge judicial problem. Mm-hmm. But right now, the NDAA, that's going to work in our favor until it gets found, once the military takes over and everything gets wiped out, then we can go back to what the Constitution should be. But at current moment, the NDAA is what's going to be able to arrest the Hillary Clintons, the frickin' Joe Bidens. That's what's going to be able to take them. But again, it's like, it's insanity. It is insanity. And there's no way out of it except through it. And again, people get mad at me when I say it, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
We can't all sit here and just jockey through it. We're going to have to live through it.
We have to do it right and by law.
Yep.
And
otherwise, Donald Trump is going to get hung. We're all going to be hanging each other. It's going to be chaos beyond chaos if it's not done this way. It really is.
I don't know. I think that the Second Amendment should be applied for at least a short period of time, just to kind of give this, this reminder that it's there for a reason.
Oh, I do not disagree. I do not. But again, you guys, most people still cannot figure out friend from enemy in this whole mess. They can't. They just don't see it. Mm-hmm. They do not see friend from enemy. So if we do Second Amendment, you could be, you just can't willy-nilly start shooting people. It's just, it can't work that way. It cannot. We'll lose, because then you have vigilante justice. It goes off the wall every damn time.
Well, we already are under the continuance of government with the military. I mean, they're in charge already.
Yep. And I got to tell you, you got to watch like Michael Flynn. These are the people you need to keep eyes on because they are the people that are kind of telling you what is going on, realistically. I mean, even in their opinions, the way Mike Flynn writes things, he's telling you what's happening. So it's, like I said, there are certain people to keep your eyes on. Eric Prince is another one. And I've said that since day one. Vicky, you back me up on that. You've heard me say it a million times. Why? Because Eric Prince is like the Michael Flynn of private contracting. Okay? Michael Flynn did it on the national level, national security. Eric did it on the private level. But he did it under orders. He was ordered by the DOD. 3/4 of what he did overseas was under Clinton. It was under Bush. It was under Obama. He followed orders. His guys were given assignments. They were paid to do it. Mercenary, basically. But he's also the guy that I'm pretty sure has the Wiener laptop. And I'm pretty sure that is going to be surfacing within the next week to 2 weeks. So hang on to your hats when that happens. Because that is going to be explosive. Yep. But with that, guys, I gotta take us out to our first break. Hey, hold that, David. Hold it. We'll hit it when we come on. We'll be right back with the Vixen'S Vault in just a few moments.
All right, we're on radio break.
What were
I
you going to
haven't
say,
heard
David?
that Wiener name in a long time. It's been years
Well,
since I heard
Say hi.
Anthony's
That's where-
name.
That is where Frazzle Drip is. Frazzle Drip is on the Wiener laptop.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Question. Where can I find that information about the Fed? I've got one more topic left for RPN, which I'm probably going to be doing not tonight, but probably tomorrow. I can probably add that in as a topic. In fact, it sounds like it would be a very interesting topic to add in.
You mean, are you talking about the guy who's taking over the Fed, or what are you talking about?
Well, you said multiple things. The banks are collapsing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
they
that's
are.
because we're buying we're buying ourselves out with money that doesn't exist. So yeah, it's bad. It is bad. What else? Oh, BP. You know,
where's-
rather than not exist. Money can always be created just like that.
And it
But
was.
yeah,
I thought
they
they'd get
do.
a
It's a
fusion.
number one
They
A
just-
spreadsheet.
Yeah, well, if you could send me the link on
Yep.
a few links to me, because I still got one slot left for RPN this week, so I can add it in. And also, wasn't I supposed to be doing an interview with you at some point?
Yes, as soon as we can get you on. It's kind of hard because let me know like the week before when you can actually sit, just you as the interview, so I don't do other subject matter. I mean, if you want to talk on this show, we could do that. That's fine.
Well, I mean, I can give you some. It sounds like you already got a full slate. I mean, I can give you some updates on what's been going on with the separatist situation. Some really frightening stuff occurred this week. Really dangerous stuff, which I will be covering on RPN. Again, either tomorrow, probably tomorrow. I can give you some updates on that stuff. I'm also, and this sounds strange because I was actually considering taking a break, but my actual, like the one that I do on specific on the Manosphere, I'm actually upping my activity level on that one. So
Gotcha. Ooh, God bless you to whoever sneezed.
Man never takes a
anyway,
break. Don't
okay,
listen
so
to him.
yeah. As for just doing a direct sit down with you for the next 4 Wednesdays, I'm going to be working. I'm going to be on my work shift, so it probably won't happen until like May. I'm going to have to get to assume now.
Okay.
Nancy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes, sweetie.
Next Wednesday, John's going to be out, but Barry's going to be in. So if you want to be on standby to help him out, that'd be great.
Copy that. Just let me know.
I'll let Barry know.
Jesus
the,
and UFOs.
What's the date? You know?
It's next Wednesday, so yeah, I think he has to do
29th.
the 29th. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Yep. That works for me.
He might not need you the whole show, but you know, I want to make sure that Barry doesn't normally cover him a whole show. So
Okay, I gotcha.
I want to make sure that he's good to go. All right.
He did pretty
30
interesting
seconds.
on his last show. Did you see that?
What's that?
Did you see the last show he did? He actually talked about Jesus and UFOs at the same time.
Yeah,
dude, I was
yeah.
tripping.
Yeah, he
That's
sure
an
does.
easy thing to do.
Yeah, and
Not for him.
then he went into L.A. Marzulli stuff. So okay. Anyways, here's your countdown: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're back live and on the radio side right now.
And we are back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Vixen'S Vault. The time is 9:28 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Today's date is April the 22nd, 2026, and it is getting wild and woolly. Did I not promise you guys it would? I told you it was going to. It's going to keep going. The pressure's going to keep building till it finally pops. But I'm kind of good with that because I'm kind of tired of just, for the last decade or so, probably more, I've just been kind of watching this country eat away at itself and wondering when people are going to really start asking questions. It's one thing I never understood about Americans. We are bold as hell. We are known as the cowboys of the world for a friggin' reason. It's because we're mouthy. We have big mouths. We really do. We tend to not mingle well with polite society. And
rebels.
Well, if that's gone though, those days are. Look at what we have: women who wear vaginas on their head. We have people protesting immigration with dildos. That is what's happened to this country. And I am not playing. Like, on national TV, national news, you're watching a bunch of weirdos waving giant floppy dildos at an immigration protest. Like, what? Okay, so we know you're mentally not quite there. That's great. Thank you for telling us that again. But, I mean, this is what I mean. This is what we've come to, rather than asking important questions. You know, like, well, honestly, what could we do? Well, there's never been a question of
mind.
Yes, well, not just reprobate. It's not just reprobate. It's 0 to a million. These people don't hit 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the digits between 0 and 1 million. They go 0 to a million in 1 second. Like, even the immigration issue. I can't remember the last time I heard a politician, anybody, say, let's have an honest conversation about what's really broken here. Because it's not just the border. It's the courts. The courts in the immigration system are a hot mess. They are backed up by 7 or 8 years. I mean, so how is that fair to the people who are trying to get in legitimately? You know, it is a mess. It is a mess.
You heard about the files that were withheld with Epstein, right?
Oh yeah, we know there's Epstein files withheld.
Over a million.
Absolutely.
Over 1 million files withheld.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, is that
and
right?
Trust me.
That's wow.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like the Kennedy. Well, it's like the Kennedy assassination files. There's still 300,000 of them that have not been released. I mean, and they won't be until the time is right. They will not be.
So all the players are dead.
No, it's not. It's not all the players.
No. You look at national security issues. You look at not only internally in the US, but especially with Epstein, but also countries like Britain and France and other countries as well. So
there's so many names.
A sort of large national security issue with Epstein, especially.
Yeah. They just took down the prince, didn't they?
Well, here's the thing. It is a national.
Sorry, I was just going to say potentially taking down Keir Starmer anytime soon, maybe.
But it wasn't. That's not what the prince was charged with. I think you guys are mistaking what they got him on. It had nothing to do with the Epstein files. That's what caused the public outcry. But it was like a bait and switch. They don't tell people, oh, he didn't lose his crown because of Epstein.
He was just
no.
over for blackmail. That was all that.
Yes,
had nothing to do with Epstein whatsoever.
Yep, and the same with Starmer. What they're going after him for, it doesn't have to do with Epstein, really. I mean, but again, I'm waiting.
Related is Peter Mandelson, due to Peter Mandelson's links to Epstein.
Yeah.
So it's sort of tangent.
And whether or not he was bought off. That's actually the big question. Was he bought off? Which he was. They all were. But again, if there's reasons some of the files are being held back.
And it all goes back to Maxwell.
It goes back to Maxwell. It goes back to Israel. It goes back to so many things. Same thing with the Kennedy files that are held back. They point at, and Robert Morningstar was telling us last week. I told y'all I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong. I mean, it's there in black and white. You just have to go look for it. But again, people don't want to hear it. Like, I get an argument, and Ralphie will back me on this. There's a person on Facebook that I argue with on a daily basis, pretty much, over Israel. And because he's a Christian, he's a very staunch Christian, and he's actually a great person, and I do not take that away from him. But he's a very proud Christian Zionist, and I'm like, he said something today about, the angels that visited the Muslims in, Muhammad that said it was Gabriel was actually a demon. I'm like, really? You're what? What? So, okay, so if we're going to follow that train of thought, then the angel that visited the Virgin Mary in the Bible was also probably a demon, because you can't say that about one religion and not say it about another.
I call them
You
good
cannot.
demons. I call them good demons, and people don't like. Even with Joan of Arc, I think that it wasn't an angel, and just like with John Dee, I think they were good demons rather than angels.
Well, I think John Dee, because John Dee is, you know, you can actually track the Enochian language through John Dee. I would love to do a full show on that, because he's a very cool character to actually dig into. It's very, very intelligent. Oh, God, was he intelligent. But what's really cool is that he was like a real oracle to Queen Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize that. He was like her sage, pretty much.
He was the one that was hidden down the basement.
Yep. I mean, and this isn't a time where, I mean, it would be like being gay in Iran. Okay, that's the time period we're talking about. Okay, it just saying things like what John Dee was saying was like you would be completely dismembered and your body would be dragged to the four corners of the country just for even saying something close to that. But for some reason, Elizabeth sheltered him.
Well,
and
I
had
was superstitious during that time.
He was also the actual 007, though. You understand that, right? Like
yes.
He was actually what people would call a MI6 agent back then.
Him and Walsingham, man. Walsingham was like, he was a real badass. He really was a badass. I mean, he took up, like, in fact, Game of Thrones, I always thought of Littlefinger, and what was the other guy's name? The heavyset eunuch. Forget his name, but those two reminded me of Walsingham. Like, if you put those two characters together, that was a Walsingham with all the spies everywhere. Everybody was getting paid to talk about everybody. And again, then I go back to, it was probably like the birth root of the Mossad. They probably took all their lessons from these people, because these people made an art of it. And I'm not joking, because a lot of the methodologies of the CIA, of the Mossad, you can see those little indicators in there, where it's like, yeah, wait, isn't that kind of goes back to like the Elizabethan court and prior. So it's like, but again, it is what it is, and it's weird how it all ties in. But I'm telling you, everything that we're seeing, it does tie together, and it ties together pretty obviously in many ways. I think that, again, they're pushing the UFO disclosure. Why? Because, again, I think a lot of stuff is going to get revealed. A lot. And there's going to be a lot of explaining to do if those documents surface before there's a soft landing.
Mm-hmm. To get the tech out, they have to explain it.
The UFO thing on Friday, and my conclusion was it's just a distraction. For big issues.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
What was it?
It can be used that way.
Well, Trump did
a
speech in front of Charlie Kirk's group, and he told him, like, scoffingly, he's like, yeah, those UFO files are coming out big time, and he's like, because I know you guys are really into all that, like. And for me personally, if I was in the audience, I'd have been offended by that. You know what I mean? Because he was basically calling everybody who was associated with him that there's nothing but UFO psychos or some shit, you know. And then the thing of it is it's like now all of a sudden he wants to talk about UFOs when it comes to the freaking stuff going on in Iran, you know. So it seems to me too like it is actually a distraction. Things haven't been going the way he planned it. It was supposed to be 5 days in and out, and now it's going on 9 weeks, you know. So he's
well again though. There's you have to understand, and you got to watch what's happening.
He's clenching his butt cheeks.
Even CNN can't lie about some of the stuff that's happening over there, like with Iran. They keep saying, there's a problem here because there's other factions within the government that are giving orders, except that are not the people in charge.
You mess with any country but Iran, okay? Iran. Anybody who thought they could go in and defeat Iran in 5 days is an idiot, okay? You just don't mess with this.
But I don't think it was I don't think it was ever about defeating Iran. That's not what Trump was doing, and it's not what he is doing. That's exactly it.
He's wanting total defeat. That's why he has the blockade, is to
intimidate. He wants the uranium dust. He wants the Khomeini administration out. He wants the uranium dust. He wants the Mossad moles uprooted. He wants them gone, because that is what's causing a lot of the problems over there, and he knows that.
That's called that's called total defeat. Okay, to get rid of everybody you're talking about, it has to be a complete new regime.
All right.
And then agreed. Agreed. The evidence. You got to have the evidence.
He's not going to get that. He's not going to get that from Iran. I'm sorry, but Iran, they literally fought Iraq against chemical warfares. They walked into chemical warfares and killed themselves.
But was it
for their country?
But my question is, yes, the people will. But people are stupid. People follow their leaders because they think they're leaders. But people follow their leaders because they believe their leaders are doing what's best for them. What happened with Iran is they got infiltrated. The Shah went down. Okay, the Khomeini regime took control. But it wasn't just the Khomeini regime. And that's what people do not understand. It's like you can trace it back. There were Mossad agents at the very beginning in the Khomeini regime.
Yeah.
So you have.
Stupid. I went to Iran.
You got to point out
I used to disagree. You look at the so-called civil war. That's how happening.
Even ISIS, people will still sit there and tell me, I can't stand it. ISIS are valiant. They're a bunch of extremists. I'm like, they were CIA and Mossad. Yes. And we even told you that. It's called Operation Timber Sycamore. Go look it up. I mean, we did that.
I still say that they were associated with the neocons because the moment freaking Donald Trump started doing his bombings, they vanished, okay? And these were people that were fighting tooth and nail, took over most of Iraq and took over freaking Nineveh and was all into Lebanon.
They didn't vanish. It's just that U.S. news wasn't reporting on them. Just because you aren't reporting on them doesn't mean that they disappeared.
Well, according to mainstream media, they were annihilated. They were no longer functioning. They bombed them twice. I think it was twice or 3 times, and that was it. They were gone. Finished.
Okay. All right.
Don't listen to mainstream media.
Yeah, I know.
Well, and you guys got to kind of learn to kind of read between things too. Like even the name Timber Sycamore. Who was Timberwolf?
Oh God.
Who was the Secret Service code name for Timberwolf? It was George Bush. It was George Bush Sr. So again, you can connect dots here. You can connect them. You can see who is doing what. And we all know George Bush Sr. was running the show for a long time, and he's not a good person.
No, he isn't.
He was not a good person at all.
I still say that even during Trump's, when he was running for president, that all was staged, like the whole finger across the throat. I look back at that in hindsight now, and I'm like, dude, that was all just theater. That's all shit was.
I think a lot of this stuff is theater. That's what, again, I don't understand that people aren't seeing. A lot of this is freaking theater. A lot.
When he was inaugurated, you see the JAG, representatives up there next to him. I mean,
yep.
Or how they had the Marines turn their back on Biden when he was in there. He was like,
Well, and again, people aren't explaining other things, like when Hillary Clinton collapsed and got dragged. Where was that? 2018 in New York City, completely collapsed and got completely dragged away, not gently at all. And within 2 hours she reappears and it was not her. I mean, if you look at that picture and you look at her, you're like, yeah, no, what did she de-age by 30 years after collapsing? What? No. I mean, how stupid are people that they accept that? Or they just don't want to know the answers. And I think that is probably the correct answer. They don't want to know.
So you think Hillary Clinton is a clone?
I don't know if she's a clone. I think there's a lot of things that have happened. I think she may have, I've said this, again, I'm going to say it again. I think at the end of all this, she may be one of the people that walks away because I think she went state's witness. I'm pretty sure Hunter Biden went state's witness. I think there's a lot more going on here than people understand. I think you're seeing traps set left and right to out people. And it's like, you can't deny it. The public is now aware that Ted Cruz is a complete, pretty much walking Israeli sponsorship.
Well, I mean, we need to do that. That was part of his plea deal. I'm sure whatever he puts out there is part of his plea deal because he's committed treason. And so if they tell him to say that, he will. And Hillary has been long gone. It's just, they don't talk about central casting, lightly.
Or Castle Rock. Central casting, Castle Rock. There's so many.
Oh, yeah, that's been a while.
So many things.
And even your dearly beloved, Trump is, how many of them are there? Are there 7? I mean, really, seriously, how could any one man do all that he does?
Well, they never look the same. Even I know that. I look at pictures and I'm like, what the hell? Is that them adjusting him to make him look like a fat orange again? Or is that actually, and what am I looking at right now? Because that's not Donald Trump. And a lot of times I'll look and I'll be like, that's his freaking brother. That's the brother that supposedly died because it looks just like him.
Yeah, or Biden. I mean, how did people Biden? I mean, he looks so different. I don't understand it. How do people not question this?
Age does wonderful things to people. The older you get, the older you look.
But it doesn't change certain things. It doesn't change your ear shapes. It doesn't change certain things, dude. And it's discernibly different. Discernibly. But that is why we were warned, be careful of what we saw, what we read, because AI and the current technologies can change anything visually on the screen while you're watching. It could be a live feed and they can still alter it drastically. And it can be very realistic.
And it's not going to get better. I mean, it's so good that, we're not going to be able to tell.
I don't think we've been able to tell for a while. Honest to goodness. I just don't. I literally don't listen to pretty much anybody anymore. I do listen to Tucker, because I think Tucker's dead on. I do listen to Candace Owens. And I'm like, you know what? Sing it, sister. You may have done things in the past that people didn't agree with, but it doesn't mean she's incorrect. Because the things that she is saying, she's backing herself up. Right. And it's like, okay, you know what? And you're right. There was a big problem with the Charlie Kirk shooting. It does not match what they told us. It doesn't match what we saw. Rafi and I were watching it. Like, it was live.
Well,
I mean, it's like, oh, God.
When you
the
were
whole
talking
thing with the gun, for starters.
Yeah.
It just, and you got to understand, Raphael he's a firearms instructor. He knows his weapons inside, outside, upside down, and he's just shaking his head going, they're really not. No, come on.
30-6. That thing wasn't even at full speed when it hit him at 200 yards.
No, it would have blown him. And not only that, it would have hit somebody behind him.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
or something.
Yeah, and the spine stopped the bullet.
His neck.
What
not
did I hear?
Not just spine, but the most narrow part of the spine besides the tailbone, the neck. It's like, oh yeah, no, we're not believing that. Oh, it was a magic bullet. And then they used the JFK phrase, the magic bullet.
Well,
I'm like,
the bullets ended up.
Because
that's all.
They said they recovered. What they said was the bullet in his spinal column up near in his neck, his vertebrae. So, 30-06 at close range.
If it passed through 4 inches of wood or something, maybe we'd get a chunk of the bullet. But
that thing would have blown. It would have blown a hole or a big dent in steel.
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
that range.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, Nancy, you were an EMT for now. The problem that I had was Charlie's blood was black.
Yep. Yes, I said it that day.
I've never seen black blood.
It's the wrong color. Oh God! I'm like, whoever's mixing the blood for this production, half the shootings that's too red is way too bright. I'm like, that is not what human blood looks like once it's hit oxygen. And then the Charlies looked like it was demonic, like it was black. I'm like, what? Did he have some kind of weird blood disease?
I pointed this out last time when we spoke about this. This could be just a technical issue with cameras and lights and blurbs.
All the cameras, including the cell phone video?
No, it would not.
All the cell phone videos were black.
Well, you guys were just talking about David Hancock, right? Now,
yep. Wilcox.
Wilcox. Yeah. If you guys go back in time and you check out his stream that was just before J6, the night before January 6th, you'll find something that's pretty interesting there too, because like you guys have been talking about people disappearing and everything. He actually made a statement that sounded pretty weird the night before January 6th happened. He said that big things are going down, and he couldn't say nothing because he has insiders. And bam, the next day, all that stuff happened.
Well, it's interesting.
I swear to you it happened.
Okay, so January 6th, if we're talking about the same event, you forget, Ralphie and I were there.
Check
we
the
were
night
on
before
ground.
is all I'm saying. I'm saying check the night before with Hancock, okay? And you'll see the video I'm talking about.
Well, when we got separated, and I was trying to triangulate my way back to the hotel, which was a hot mess. But I think I was getting some texts, and I was watching the strands, and I knew. Ralphie will tell you. I told him when he got back, they cloned 12 different laptops, and they got Pelosi's laptop. So we definitely knew that this was and I believed it was a military thing. These are not Anons that did this. In fact, there weren't that many Anons there that day because Q had told us to stay clear. Or if we did go, not to do anything stupid. So, I mean, basically, the QAnon shaman. And I have not laughed that hard in a long time because none of us knew who he was. None of the Anons knew who he was. We were like, who's that dude? Do you know him? Do you know him? No, who is that? He had nothing to do with the Anon community, not the actual 8chan Anon community, or 4chan actually. He was just kind of came out of nowhere, and I'm like, that's a plant. That is definitely a plant to make everybody look absolutely insane. Great, good job. But I mean. They kept saying QAnon. The press kept saying QAnon, the QAnons, There's no such animal as a QAnon. And we have said that for 9 years. There is no such thing as a QAnon. There's Q and there are nons. And that is it. So if you're going to refer to people, you refer to them as Anons, not QAnons. That's not what they are. And the press knew that. So again, to me, that is a show. That is something pre-planned, well-planned, and it's a show. And Ralphie and I definitely saw military personnel there that day in regular clothing. Well, as close as they could get to regular.
I think I had an FBI agent actually approach me that day.
I know you did.
I thought it was one of them.
Well, babe, you were giving water to the idiot that fell off the side of the Capitol.
Yeah.
I think I broke my ankle. I actually have that video. The guy's like, I think I broke my ankle. Oh my God.
I'm just hoping that all of this is done soon because, hopefully at the end of it, at least 95%, if not all of our government and people in power are given the guillotine.
Well,
that Israel looks like Gaza, and that Iran has routed out the Mossad and the CIA and the British and everybody else, and let them, live their own peaceful lives. This,
I would be okay if Israel was actually given to the true Israelis. That would not bother me at all, because what's in there right now, the Zionists are not true Israelis. They are not.
Well, get rid of the Zionists. That's the point. I mean, it's giving territory to other people that weren't there before, or have no commonality with the indigenous people that were there. That's never worked. I mean, it's 3/4 of the reason why we have so much strife in the world, because the British and the United States knew what they were doing. Anytime they took over a country and they rewrote the lines, they made sure that there was enough diversity in there in order for nobody ever to be, basically homogenized, to create their own culture, their own strong society. They wanted a lot of division. They wanted all that infighting so that they can control it from afar.
Robbie, I got to stop you. I got to take us out on break. I just looked at the time. All right, hang in there, guys. I was going to say, we're going to lose it in a moment. Hang in there, guys. We'll be back with Vixen's Vault in just a few minutes.
Yep.
All right, we're going to lose this room any second now. All right.
Sorry.
Just go ahead and hang up now.
All
right, and I'll see you guys when I bring it back up. Got it, Raph? Hang up. And then I'm going to hang up.
Got it.
Hiroki, I'm going to hang up now. All right. And that meeting, and I'll start a new one, and we'll get it going.
There we are.
Here we are.
Well, there's 3 of us in.
Shalom, shalom.
Hello. We are back.
And by the way, before anybody listens to the news, Hug, the director of, I believe it's Nuclear Intelligence, hang on, I gotta look at it here. Nuclear Chief Andrew Hug. He was escorted out of the Pentagon yesterday, by the way, and put on indefinite leave. But before the press gets a hold of it and starts saying that it was because he refused to nuke Iran, no, that's not why he was relieved. He was relieved because he was caught on undercover video spilling sensitive national security information to a woman he met at a restaurant.
Yeah, that's the one. I didn't get a chance to read the article. Thank you.
Okay, and I talked to Sonia in between, and she can't come in, but she said David would never do that.
Yep, yeah. I know he wouldn't.
I'll tell you what, if you just go watch the video, that's all. I don't have to say nothing. It's fact. Yep. It's actually on the video. And David Wilcock is also one of the people who was going before court and telling people that he was reading the script for frickin' Goya.
Well, see, a lot of people forget, not only did he have contact with Corey Good, but Emery Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
exactly.
And Emery,
deniers.
Emery, every time I look at him, I say plant.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say that until the end of the frickin' until Totem Full Moon frickin' is actually
Totem Pole.
Totem Pole.
I don't know if David's actually dead either, though. I think he may have been taking him out. I think there's a group of them that have been taking him out. I really don't think it's.
He's been disappeared. I guarantee.
I don't think it's Cheyenne.
He's been disappeared. If anything, he knows something that he
isn't supposed to. Is he anyway connected with what that general and the other stuff?
Yes.
So
yes. His job was. Yep.
You might want to play connected dots when we come back on that, because Not a lot of people have talked about that part.
Oh.
He's
got
got
a lot
a
of feedback from somebody.
Nancy brought it up last week with the picture there with the 11 missing, and now the 12th one took it today.
Yeah.
The 12th one.
Well, not just that. Like I said, I mean, I mentioned it when we came on the air that he was the head of aerospace technology.
Okay, here's another thing, too, that we're going to need to watch, too. Numbers. Because, everything works in numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I don't know if Naroki's still with us, but Naroki, I dropped the U.S. banks currently facing unrealized losses of $306 billion. And I also dropped the article about Kevin Warsh, the new Fed chief.
Okay, that would be on Teams, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
thanks. Right there in the chat.
And our money has to be clean.
Yeah. Welcome to the central bank CDBCs.
No, see, I seriously think this is all connected with BRICS as well. This is a finance war going on between the IMF and the BRICS.
Nancy, we are going to need to cut out right at the 55 mark. So, because
understood.
Yeah,
I'll keep an eye out.
You came in early?
No, that's about what time we normally leave out, but I mean, it's not going to let us go much. I mean, we can say our quick goodbyes right after we leave air, but that'll be about it. All the time we have on this deal here.
Oh, hey, one last thing, Nancy. The next available date where I have a Wednesday free is May 27th.
Okay. Why don't we plan it for like then, so we have an actual solid date?
Yeah, and rather than winging it. And how long does your show run? Is it an hour or is it 2 hours?
It's 2 hours.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I'll get a hold of you at some point in the next 4 weeks, and we'll break it up into segments because I don't have my finger in a bunch of it, but I have 3 specialties the third one is because I live in Alberta. So, and yeah, if you want an update on what's been going on here at some point today before the show ends, just let me know. In the meantime, I'm just going to sit back and listen. I'm just going to be playing Civ while you guys talk. So,
well, what I think I'm going to do is when we come back in, I'm going to have Rafi finish out what he was saying, and then if we can segue over. But I also just dropped into the chat about David Wilcock's biographer, Winfrey, who died 2 days before David supposedly committed suicide.
Are you kidding me?
Right. Nope.
Oh my God.
And that is verifiable.
Yeah. What was the report? How did he die?
Suicide. They said he blew his head off.
Yeah.
In front of an officer.
Sorry, I'm talking of the biographer.
Oh, I haven't looked up how Winfrey died yet. In fact, hold on, because I know that is actually confirmed.
There's just something fishy about all that when it comes to Wilcox, though, because he knew way too much.
Wilcock.
Oh, he did. Yeah,
Sonia
he did.
will get mad at you, Roger. It's Wilcock.
Wilcock. I keep calling him Hancock, don't I?
Not Hancock. You're not Cox.
Oh, Hancock's.
No.
Wilcox is what you mean.
Wilcock.
Well, it's Wilcox if you're referring to it as something he's possessing.
Oh.
I'm not sure if he did or didn't know.
And it would be Will Cock if he was the adult performer.
This is just getting bad fast.
Right. Now, we're getting into Mark Edworthy's territory over there where they have pubs called Mark Edworthy's territory over there where they call pubs the Cock and Pullet. But anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Right. So, okay, right. Anyways, you crazy Brits. I don't know about you guys.
Okay.
Smoke another one for me there, Mark.
Will they?
Whoo!
You know what I don't understand? Now, when I was in high school, because that was 60 years ago, we used to know when they used to tell us when our national debt was the interest on the debt. Okay, so I'm thinking if we're 38 trillion in debt, so is that the interest or is that the actual debt? Because I thought we were 200 trillion in debt.
30 seconds.
I don't know.
Good question, though. Nobody understands it. Keynesian economics. Welcome to the world of nobody understanding
Well,
anything
you have to
because it
listen to
doesn't make
Censorship
sense.
Sucks show so that he can tell you all about economics and crap like that since he worked over at the exchange at one of them. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, here's your countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're live and on the radio side right now.
10:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Wednesday, April the 22nd, 2026. Welcome back to the show. I'm going to actually let Ralphie finish out what he was saying if he remembers where he was at because I had to cut him off so abruptly. I looked down at the time and went, oh, dear God. Ralphie, you want to finish up what you were saying? Ralphie, you're muted.
All right, sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Can you hear me now? No, I'm
Yes.
just kidding. No, anyway, so what I was talking about is the empire, the Anglo-American Empire has always been about a strategy of tension. When they redraw the lines of territories, they make sure that they have enough diversity in there so that no one group can solidify power in the given territory. Because let's just say you look at the Iraq, Iran, Syria. In there you also have what was the Kurds? I think it was. And then
that's Iraq.
Division.
Yep.
Yeah, you have the division between the Sunnis and the Shiites and so on and so forth. Those people already have territories that they occupy on their own. I mean, they once you start clustering them into, basically just throwing them all into one pot and declaring this is the government now, and they're going to tell you how you're going to live your life. Well, yeah, that rubs people the wrong way. That's be like the Chinese coming in here and dividing us up and saying, okay, now we're gonna, you're gonna answer this one government, but it's gonna be, they're going to be run by DEI, drag queen story time people, and you don't have a say in it. But that's so that no region becomes too independent and too centered on their their cultural values, the things that bring them together. It's the reason why they want to break up the United States and into regions and have regional governors, because they don't want to have any United States. They want to break up anything that will cause the people to tribalize, to become tribal. They want to break everybody down into individuals. They don't even want nuclear family units. They're trying to make people as weak as possible so that they can take control. The weaker and more divided that they can make us, the more control and strength they have. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
That's why I said with Trump that he was trying to divide us. So the segue for the military is that much simpler and that much easier for them. And I hate the thought of it, but I understand the logic of it. Now, on the other side of that, when you were saying it would be like China coming over here, I got to tell you, Ralphie, the first image in my head was Red Dawn. And I'm picturing Patrick Swayze all sweaty with the blood and the mud. And then I thought, and then I think about today's society, and I'm like, oh my God, it would be Rainbow Dawn. Really? Yeah. Oh, that's why they did this. Everybody would have their rainbow bright hair. Don't say this.
To use a cliche, diversity is our strength.
Red Dawn is actually the kind of thing that they want Americans to visualize in their head, because that's the kind of thing they're wanting to bring back when it comes to what we consider conservative today, which is actually nationalism. They want you to think that freaking some other country is going to invade us, and that we're like Invasion USA with Chuck Norris. Remember that one?
Yep.
Is the countries always just because again, both in Europe and in the US, there is serious issues with immigration at this present moment. So, is it countries per se?
It's propaganda, is what it is. They're pushing propaganda.
Put it this way: we are at greater risk of infiltration, not invasion, and we always have been. But they've always kept our eye on invasion rather than infiltration. That was the game plan. That's what Roger's trying to say. They wanted us, always on that lookout, the head on the swivel for like parachutes coming out of the sky at us. Yeah. And what was actually happening is they were making their way over the border and being allowed in. It was infiltration, not invasion.
And trust me, I loved freaking Red Dawn. Don't get me wrong, but I can tell you 100%, it is a propaganda movie. 100%.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. But again, so much is propaganda movies. And, like I said, I actually enjoy the comedy-based ones, like some of the ones about, what was it called? The American Presidents. It's an old movie. Jack Lemmon was in it. I was peeing my pants laughing at this movie because these guys were it showed these two ex-presidents and they're in a plane crash and they have to find their way back to people and they're bickering and arguing about the pettiest things and their egos are like huge, and I laughed through the whole movie because to me that's actually probably very close to reality, being very honest. But on the other side of that, I think we do have to have national pride in some way, shape, or form. But national pride does not mean ego, and that's what it's become. It's no longer a pride of, I'm an American. It's an ego of I'm an American. And it's not about we're Americans, we're generous, we're this, we're good people. It's about we're Americans, we're going to crush your head.
Well, that's it.
It shouldn't be that way.
That's it. I mean, the thing is, I don't know how many of my friends, granted, they're all mostly military and law enforcement, but, they've got this mindset that somehow military might is what makes America's great. And it's not. Mm-mm. It's not. At least it's not supposed to be. We used to be the shining light on the beacon, the shining light on the hill, the beacon of hope. But now we're just the Eye of Sauron, and everybody's terrified of us. And I think the metric by which we measure our greatness should be measured in quality of life, moral values.
Yep.
There's a movie called Newsroom, I think it was, and Jeff Bridges is on the stage, and they ask him, what makes America great, and he goes to this tirade about how, we're dropping so low on STEM, on longevity, Sorry guys, I'm so tired. I'm just having problems just putting everything together, but my point is that we have been conditioned since the expansionist era. Actually, our entire history has been like that. This whole idea of manifest destiny, and how we're just going to take shit from the Indians and the Mexicans and everything else to expand out this country from coast to coast. This idea that we're going to use military might to get what we want is not new. This is the history of this country. And I think it's horrible. When I look back at it as for what it is, I think it's absolutely horrendous.
Well, if I do find it interesting, because I'm going to show you a dividing line that most people don't think about, but if you read it, I'm historically correct. Before the push for the Fed, before the push for militarization, when we were run by like the captains of industry, whether we like it or not, whether we thought they were gypped or not, they paid for the land. Like, they traded with the Indians for the land. They paid them for the land. It was when the military got involved that there were big problems, because they were just taking the land and giving it to the settlers and just shoving the Indians onto reservations. But when it was the captains of industry, they were doing moderate trade. They were trading out for the land. Now, granted, they gypped the crap out of them, but it was still an effort. It was a giving rather than a taking. And I look at like Israel, and I don't understand how people who defend their actions can say it's okay for them to just move into other people's territories, and because they need room, they need to expand, they need more settlements. and just kick people who have been living in the houses for like hundreds of years out with no compensation, no ability to really get jobs over there, because over there everything is restricted. If you actually knew the laws in Israel, you would freak. I mean, it's crazy how absolutely they treat the Arabs in their communities, I mean, and the Christians. It's not just, I'm not going to even say Muslims and Christians, because it is the Arabs. It's horrendous. They're not even second-rate citizens over there. So it's like, but people want to believe something different. And I don't understand it.
Something that reminds me of, you said the US, the idea of the shining city on the hill then, but I'm just remembering that when it comes to foreign policy, especially since World War II, the US has not been overly successful at anything.
Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, nope.
But the Constitution is what set us apart from the rest of the world.
Well, see, we were actually the streets paved in gold and everything. People all over Europe seeing the United States as the land of opportunity. But the thing happened. One thing happened was immigrants started coming into New York, and they didn't like the way the Irish and the Brits were setting up gangs in New York, and that caused issues with immigration. So they had to set up Staten Island and start pushing a federal immigration policy, which was the first socialist movement here in the United States. Well, one of the first socialist movements. It took power away from the states and gave it to the federal government. Okay, and from that point on, people freaking came to the United States, and they had to follow socialist policies according to an immigration that went by the federal government, not by each state, which that's what it was originally. And then if you want to look at if you want to look at history, Nancy, you look at homesteaders, what they did to the homesteaders.
Yep.
Also,
I know.
Also look at the right-of-way laws that they did with the railroad companies when they were trying to set the railroads in. They did horrible things, not just to Indians, but to homesteaders and people. And that's their whole plan. Their whole plan is to get people to do stuff, and then they take it away from them.
Well, I think that's a large reason why people try to defend the Jews, because our own history reflects what they're doing now. Mm-hmm. And it assuages their guilt. Go ahead. Sorry, babe. Go ahead.
It's not just that. I mean, Mark Edwards, made a really good point on the timeline, and I got to point that out. Post World War II, Mark, why do you think that is? Post World War II, the UN was formed, the State of Israel was formed. Okay? And literally, it became a total world socialist network as to everything that was happening, except we footed the bill for it all. And I just don't understand how people thought that was going to be economically feasible long term. We can't pay for everybody and everything. All the people here suffer to do that, and I'm not playing. I mean, we've got a lot of problems over here. People cannot get health care. No. When you do get health care, they're poisoning you to death. I mean, it is not good.
To be fair,
we've done it.
Bill was not only the US, but a lot of Western countries, a lot of European countries, especially Britain and France and Germany. Yeah, well, maybe.
But who do you think was giving the US the loans to do what they needed to do? What do you think the Fed is consistent of, Mark? The Fed itself, at its best, no, my love, no. It traces back to the Bank of England. Almost every single bank within the Fed has got Bank of England roots. Mm-hmm. So we are still paying the masters of England. We have been for generations.
Yep.
Funny enough,
and all that money from IRS is still in England.
Funny enough.
Say that again.
To whom?
Okay. Just the point you were talking about the US National Grid. The US National Grid PLC is actually a British company.
Mm-hmm. Well, even your British Petroleum.
And your US companies, or multiple companies, are just subsidiaries of the British.
Yep. But here's the fun part, Mark. When you actually trace who runs the companies and who owns the companies, it doesn't go back to British people. Or it's British Jews, or American Jews, or Israeli Jews. I mean, it's crazy.
Actually, as far as France is concerned, companies like EDF, another energy supplier, which has got connections to.
But where do they all go under?
A large percentage of is owned by the French government. Which is topping up really pensions.
But there's also one other thing you got to look at. There are three oversight companies to almost every major industry in the world. Do you know what they are? BlackRock, Blackstone, and Vanguard.
Yep. Blackstone
okay.
And BlackRock subsidiary.
They're the same. I always say it's the same. Literally, it's the same tree. The two apples came out of the damn same tree. The only reason they divided the company from Blackstone into Blackstone and BlackRock was to avoid antitrust laws. Okay, literally, they did it in the early '90s. Blackstone went more into marketing and real estate. BlackRock went into portfolios. They are literally between the two companies. You're talking trillions upon trillions of dollars in assets. I mean, even Lloyd's Bank, they are all under BlackRock. They are all completely beholden to BlackRock investors. Who do you think runs BlackRock? Who do you think Larry Fink is? Look up his history. I'm not joking. So who?
He's a space alien. That's my stand, but I'm going to hold that to the stand. He wears his makeup. And he's just
I just laugh at people because I'm like, well, number one, let's just think of his name, Larry Fink. First time I read it, I was like, this guy really walked around his whole life with that name. He got called Fink. What?
But then Finkelstein.
But then you got to look at, where does he? Yes, he claims to be an American. I mean, he claims to come from San Francisco, California. But guess what? Guess who he's beholden to? Israel. Let's all gasp. Let's all gasp now because we are all super surprised by that information. And no, I'm not anti-Semitic, but I am a person that says there's a big problem when one itty-bitty little country the size of Rhode Island gets literally $63 million a month from the United States of America, plus all the contract money, plus all the kickbacks from their loyalists, plus all the blackmail material, plus all of our freaking intelligence. You name it, they're into it. That is seriously problematic. Yep. There's no way that is safe for national security, not for the American people at least. Perhaps those who are being bribed, blackmailed, and everything else, it's safe for them, but it sucks for the American people.
And it's all tied to the Rothschild banks.
Yep. I mean, let's look at who owns Blackstone, which is, I mean, you all got to understand, Blackstone is invested up to the umpteenth degree in the development of Gazan real estate to the tune of ridiculous amounts of money. That's Blackstone. Guess who runs Blackstone? Oh, I don't know, a guy by the name of Steven Schwartzman. Let's just think of what kind of name that is. You can't make this up.
No,
and it's the same thing with Vanguard. It's what the holy hell is happening, Batman? I mean, it is
when you
nuts.
Say run, you mean daily run. I believe he's the CEO. Therefore, he's daily operation.
He is at the top of the list. And it's like I said, it's Mark. You cannot, you can't say that there wasn't a plan of action here. When all the money traces back to one origination, one itty-bitty little group of people. I mean, we're talking a couple million people, if that. All right? The United States itself has over 340 million people in it. Okay? That's just us. That's not India. That's not China. That's not Pakistan. That is not Russia. That is not any of the big, huge population places. But this itty-bitty little place with a little bit over 1 million people in it somehow manages to run all of the largest companies on the planet. And all the DOD-based companies. Come on, dude.
Paid for by
Technically, a lot of these are
Lord Rothschild
PLCs
in
or
Balfour
limited.
Agreement.
Therefore, they've got stock own shareholders, which anybody in theory could become.
Because we got killed at the get-go, coming out of the gate after World War II because of what happened during World War II. Because nobody can say a word if somebody happens to be Jewish. Because if you say anything, you are now anti-Semitic. That is ridiculous. But with that, I got to take us out to our last break of the evening. We shall return in just a few moments with the Vixen's Vault.
All right, we're on radio break.
And they're tracking.
Why
They're
the
actually
British wouldn't help us. That's why they wouldn't help us in this with Trump. The British wouldn't. Nope, they weren't going to help.
They're trying to force his hand. I know.
Well, no, it's the Rothschild Bank. They're all part of the bank. The cabal.
I'm not so sure. I would argue that it's because we've got an incompetent government in Britain at the moment.
No, it's not in their interest. It's not in their financial
we've got an incompetent government. It's not in their interest. I mean, we could make a similar sort of argument when it comes to the Chagos Islands and.
Well, the problem being, Mark, is it an incompetent government that's making decisions based off the demands of corporate empires, which is what's happening everywhere. Yeah. That is not something that happens overnight. That is something that embeds over time. And it's been happening.
In London
that's it. What changed the dynamic?
The power that has been invested into people like Tony Blair, as an example.
But what I'm saying but the difference is you have to look at what changed. Because apparently this all worked and we were all freaking oblivious to most of it. Nobody bothered to look up anything. What changed? And I can tell you what changed. Donald Trump changed. Yeah. Donald Trump came into office and suddenly people are talking about things. Thank you happened. Yep. Thank you happened.
About these things for a lot longer, but granted.
I would say 15 years, to be honest, more than anything else.
Actually, I would say
2015 was the change.
1997. I could argue 1992.
It was bad. It was bad, but I'm going to tell you right now, the last 10 years are freaking horrible. Everybody's confused, okay? Nobody knows what the hell is going on. And I've said that before, I know, but think about it. I mean, nobody gets what's going on today.
I think that's intentional because now they have ruffled the feathers and the deep state's going nuts. But I think it started, if I was going to put my peg on things when people started kind of getting suspicious that things were not what we were being told, it was when Syria became a problem. When Obama took office and suddenly Syria became a public enemy and suddenly Bashar al-Assad was like a maniac in this, when Syria was our ally not even 2 years earlier. And it's like suddenly they're public enemy number one. And we find out that Halliburton has got their fingers into the natural gas under Syria.
I'm looking at this on the longer sort of point. I'm thinking the breakup of the Soviet Union in 91.
Yes, the drop of them. Yep, because everything went black market because there was a lot of stuff going out on the black market.
That goes back to the neocons. You got to understand they actually made money off of the Cold War. Okay, and their biggest wish, their biggest dream is a return of the Cold War. We just need to have two enemies that are freaking fighting one another, but we're not fighting one another. You know?
Yep. Oh, come on, let's go back to Ronald Reagan. Let's all eat donuts. Oh, I can't believe he did that. Cannot believe he did that.
But they loved the Cold War because the Cold War brought money in for them.
Yep.
They made a profit.
Look at the amounts of money that DOD is raking in now. I mean, the fact that Trump put an EO into place 3 months ago that actually stops them from being able to do what they've been doing. I mean, it had to happen that way. That we had to have a president make an executive order so we don't have to pay, $800 for a normal porcelain toilet seat anywhere.
30 seconds.
That's within the DOD.
And
that's crazy.
And the Qatar in the military is a military operation. That whole thing, that's why they're involved. That's why you
I
want
believe
them
so.
involved. To protect it.
Well, at least some of them. I mean, but the military, again, because under Biden, you forget all the things that kept us a decent
Here's your
military got
countdown.
squashed.
Well,
5.
and that's how they kept
4,
it secret.
3.
A lot
2,
of the military don't know a thing.
1. And you're back live and on the radio side right now.
And we're back, 10:29 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, April the 22nd, 2026. Welcome back to the show, everybody. God, we have the most interesting break conversations sometimes. They go down multiple rabbit holes at one time, but yet it's weird because even Mark, even my buddy on the other side of the pond over there, Fabio, even we all end up on the same page in a weird way. We may not agree how we end up on the same page, but we all kind of see that these problems have been there and that it's been happening, and it was just because they all, I guess you could say, the way they had set things up, the way corporations, the banks, all of them were playing, the military, all of them. And this is not just the United States, by the way, folks. This is pretty much the whole world that's been doing this dance. They have played it so seamlessly where just money was disappearing from our pockets and into their pockets. But we didn't see it because we were kept comfortable. We were kept totally distracted by so many different things. And again, I think it's funny because I always thought to myself, how did COVID fit into this with Trump? I try to figure out the logic of things sometimes. I'm like, he had to have known. If the Anons knew, which we did, he would have to have known something. Why did he let it happen? And then I thought, he let it happen so the distractions would be minimized. That's why he let it happen. Because, again, we were all stuck in our houses. Remember that? We had so many people join the Anon movement because they were bored off their asses and had nothing better to do. So they started getting on their computers and research and watching videos and researching and watching videos. And like the movement got huge. And, of course, then Biden gets into office and it got bigger. Because we were seeing things happening that was like, oh, this is not good. Oh, this is not good. And then, of course, you had ridiculously retarded, obvious situations with Joe Biden that made you question what was going on in the administrative end of the White House. The man is crapping his pants in public in a foreign country with foreign dignitaries, and, oh, he's fine. No, I'm pretty sure that's... Nope. How many times did he fall down the stairs at Air Force One while we all watched? I mean, we made fun of... Guys, we made fun of Gerald Ford for 30 years for freaking his little debacles. But Joe Biden, it was a week, every week and a half, something else was happening. He couldn't remember his own kid's birthday. He forgot Bo was dead. I mean, oh my God, this was your president. I'm speechless as to how that all unraveled and how many people that kind of shook awake. Where it was just, and I thought to myself, yep, that's why. It minimized distractions and it allowed people to really kind of focus in. And it was like a train wreck. Once you saw it, you couldn't look away. It was just I know people who are literally watching the news, like C-SPAN, just to see something stupid that Joe Biden would do. And it's that was their entertainment. That was the president of the United States. But it's true.
What about the people did? They didn't agree with it. They thought, oh no, he just, no problem. And you're like, what?
But that has to tell you that, the cover, everything that was happening, it involved the press. It involved the news stations. It involved Hollywood. It involved the music industry. It involved, I can't tell you how many different, it's in everything. And that's why I keep saying every time people get impatient, and I'm like, you're not understanding the girth of what has to happen.
This thing is, I know. You
don't get it, because where you lob off one head, 5,000 more are going to appear. It's just so embedded. It's been here for so long. I mean, it's nuts. And like I said, and what are you going to do? Arrest Hillary Clinton? Parade her before our judicial system? Really? You think that's going to work? You know, the same system that said, oh, we don't need to charge her. She's just an idiot who didn't know what classified material was. What?
It has to be military tribunals. It does.
She was, like I said, that when that email fiasco happened, she wasn't just the Secretary of State. She was a very powerful attorney for a very powerful law firm for many years, and a very good attorney. And you're telling me she didn't know what was on a server that was hidden in her bathroom? That she didn't know what the classified marking was? What?
Yeah.
I mean, how stupid are people that they actually were like, well, it's Hillary Clinton, too big to fail. And then within 4 years, they're making up charges. They are literally making up laws to prosecute Donald Trump. Because nobody's too big to be charged. What?
Uh-huh.
It boggles the mind. And so, like I said, if you do not understand how messed up our judicial system is, and our legal system, and a lot of our federal agencies, law enforcement, you name it, it is bad. There is no way, even if Trump wanted to, he could not. It would be a waste of taxpayer money, a waste of taxpayer time, and he showed us that already, because they've already tried to indict several people. And the courts dismissed it.
I'd love for him to waste our money in that way, though. I'm sick of him wasting our money in other ways. Like, waste our money on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, go that direction, because people need to be brought to justice.
But how do you know they're not? Yeah. Because, again, there are files being compiled.
There are tribunals going
on. How many people have gotten in trouble with emails and walked away?
They have been indicted. Several have been indicted, Roger. And what happened?
That's not prosecution.
But what is going to happen if you indict them? And
I would rather see my money get wasted going after those people.
No, we don't have the money, Roger.
System. No, we don't.
You said it. You said it yourself that our justice system is horrible. It needs to be fixed. But that's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. You go that direction.
Really? So who's going to stop the judges? Because the judges have made it pretty clear that they're more powerful than the President of the United States.
That's the issue, isn't
it? That's totally wrong.
See, and that needs to be worked on, right?
What's the answer, Roger? What is the only answer that
you start wasting money going that direction?
Military.
Taking care of that. No,
the military is the only answer. It is, because even if you waste the money, they will crash the system just so they can keep control.
If you're talking military, the only solution is another civil war, and that is it. That's the if you really
this is all done to avoid the civil war.
No, this
is how it's done this way.
This system that you call government is gone. The only thing that's solve that is going to be a civil war. We need to freaking take people out of power, reinstall the Constitution, and
that's with the continuation of government.
But here's again. Whoa.
No, we don't have a constitutional government anymore.
But let's go logical, Roger. You say, okay, civil war, but the problem is that the people we're talking about have buku weapons.
Let them use it.
Like, no, way more than like you, myself, Ralphie. No, they are in charge. Like, that's why we're seeing a lot of military people get dismissed. They're in powerful places.
Hey, let these military men fire. Let these military men fire on a 52-year-old man with a double-barrel shotgun.
Well, what do you do about people in groups like Halliburton, Roger?
Yeah.
That's an army.
Hey.
All right.
Hey, that's fine.
A real army.
That's fine. You know what?
Some
You know what?
people
I think
will
American citizens have no
So
balls
that's
anymore.
war.
It's
That
like
means
you
that
stand
the
up against these people.
countries-
You go out there with a double barrel shotgun. You go out there with a freaking.
You are being very, very
No,
naive.
that's not
Extremely
naive. That's not. That's how we won our independence against you guys.
I agree with him. I agree with him.
Two shells in
Well,
your
well,
shotgun.
Are
I
you
agree
willing
with
to
Roger.
die for your country? That's the whole
I
question.
agree with Roger in that respect, but I also have to caution Roger with the fact that we have about 40% of our population who think it's more important to go out and protect cartel members in our population than it is to fight for this country. They burn our flag, Roger.
Yes.
I mean, it's not, we are not the people we were 40 years ago.
Wait. Don't listen. This whole thing that you threw out about 40% of the population wanting to protect cartel members has nothing to do with protecting cartel members. You got to protect the identity of the United States. You got to protect the Constitution. It has nothing to do with them. Their lives don't mean shit.
I
They're
understand
willing to do what
How
they're
many
doing.
people know that, though? How many people
Roger.
know that we're supposed to be, protecting the
Yeah,
Constitution?
the whole
You
cartel
ask the
being
people, they don't know.
look. The whole cartel becoming a terrorist group, according to Trump, was only a ploy so that he would be able to justify his attack on Venezuela. That was all.
No,
Exactly.
that's
Okay,
not true.
here's
Not true.
another thing, too.
Not true.
And I totally disagree with the military is the way. Because the military, where do you think they get their education from? Oh,
Exactly.
they get their education from the liberal colleges and universities that we send them to. Okay? So they're not only military indoctrinated, but they're indoctrinated by that system as well. So you cannot trust a military tribunal.
Yep.
All right?
But you can trust Space
But the
Wars, can't you?
military-
You can trust the fact that we've got no,
The military
because we do.
started this country. That's why you go back to the military. And it's all been set up. The continuity of government. They're already in charge. And that's how you do it. They're trying to avoid a civil war because nobody knows what's going on. I mean, if you ask,
I'm hearing
when
all
you,
this
as
shit
a
from people that
policeman-
never served, and I'm telling you right now, the military culture is the military culture, and they will stomp on your dick if you do not agree
Robbie.
with or
Language.
if you do not agree with or toe the line. There is no answering back. There is no equivocation. When they
Dictatorship.
take over, it is not going to be the kind of government that you want.
If you want to know what indentured
I agree with
servitude
that.
is,
That's my fear.
It's not permanent,
the
though.
minute you
It's
enlist
not
into the
government.
service, that's indentured servitude. All right?
Exactly.
But it's
It is,
not
and
permanent.
it is beat into them.
And it's
It's
the
beat into them, though.
continuity
It
of
is.
government. They have their own laws of how it's supposed to go. Then we're supposed to have the general elections. I mean, it's all been planned out. And
How many general elections have you seen actually happen after they declare martial law?
how
Anywhere
many
in the world.
martial law? Are you aware that we're in
Let's
a
say
martial
Ukraine.
law situation right now?
Let's say
Yeah,
Ukraine.
we are.
We are in a martial
are in a
law
martial law.
situation. So, and there's going on.
But again-
it's this double government thing going on.
Three.
Where-
There's three governments, not two. There's books underneath the books. Like if you want to get into that, you start talking about the child care and the foster care laws and stuff like that. That's
Yep.
a third set of laws.
And
And then you have the
that goes
Commonwealth.
under-
Oh my
Right.
God.
Yep.
well, there's
Yeah.
common. Well, didn't he just put us back on that we're a sovereign nation? Didn't you read that just recently?
Yes. Yep.
So, that all the judges are going to have to go back to school. We're not under the British Bar Association maritime law anymore.
That's
So
right,
they're
Mark
going to have to
Edwards.
go back.
That's
They're
right,
going to have
Mark
to go
Edwards.
back.
Yep. And that's something I pointed out so many times that actually we've been this country has been acting unconstitutionally since like the early 1800s.
Yeah.
And it's because they did pass that the Tona Law, the 13th Amendment, the Titles of Nobility Law, that was frickin' passed. And it was put into constitutions. And, like, literally, it just, when they realized, oh, wait, that includes lawyers. Because Esquire is a title of nobility.
Yep. You're right.
The 13th has been changed, 3 times now?
That's what I'm saying, though. They just, when they don't like something, like we have had amendments that were fully ratified. And then they just say, oh, well, no, it wasn't. It really wasn't ratified 5-6 years later. We didn't ratify it correctly, so it's no longer an amendment. And no. And it's happened repeatedly in this country. Mm-hmm. Repeatedly. Not once, not twice. I mean, and it seems the number 13, which I find really cryptically creepy because of the 13 number always being a bad luck number. But the 13th Amendment seems to be ground zero for that. Because not once, not twice, 3 times there's a 13th Amendment passed.
And we had to.
So it's crazy. Like I said, the first one was the Tona. The second one was the Civil War, where the North really outed their butts by basically saying that, okay, so you guys in the South can keep your slaves, but you have to pay a 40% tax on each one. That was the North's solution to the war.
Because it's not fair. Because
the South said, absolutely not, and bombed the crap out of Fort Sumter. So it's like, okay, good job, but it had nothing to do with freeing the slaves, and whatever you're reading in the history book is incorrect in that way. The North did not fight the South to free the slaves. They fought the South to make the South either not have free labor or pay for that free labor to the North. That's what the war was about.
Well, it was land grab. It was land grab for the purpose of taxation.
This all goes back to the Federalists, anti-Federalists. Actually, the Federalists were against the Bill of Rights, and the Anti-Federalists refused to sign the Constitution if they didn't get the Bill of Rights, and that eventually just led to the Civil War because the Federalists wanted to take more and more control.
Well, it was industrialization too, Roger. You forget, right as the Civil War was, the 1850s is when you started to see that little push into the age of industrialization, and the captains of industry realized that they're building all these assembly line type facilities, and they have to pay people to work them. And here's the South with the free labor assembly lines who are making mucho profit. Because they don't have to pay their labor.
Actually, I would argue that at least in Europe, the sort of industrial revolution started around the Napoleon Wars times, or 1810, 1808, 1812.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was 1850. It was burgeoning.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And they, like I said, the Northern captains of industry. You ever think about the fact that we only refer to the Northern millionaires as the captains of industry? You never hear about the Southern ones because that's just the way it was written. Because they just got blotched out because they didn't feel that it was a fair process because they didn't have to pay their employees. Oh my God. But it's true story, and like I said, if you read it, and even in the presidential papers, when you go into the presidential papers and you start reading what the game plan was for post-Civil War. Oh, somebody's got their speaker on.
Yeah,
there we go.
Echoing.
But if you look at the game plan, and you say, because nobody ever asked the question, what was Abraham Lincoln going to do with all the freed slaves? Well, he had a game plan. His game plan was to send them all to Panama because they couldn't ship it. It was not affordable to ship them all back to Africa. And he did not believe that the black man and the white man could integrate in a society because he didn't feel that they had the equal intelligence to be in a society with white people and be treated as equals. It was kind of I feel bad saying this, but it was like a sympathy thing with him where he knew that they would never be treated as equal. So he said, we're just going to send them to Panama. That was his game plan.
He wasn't Liberian?
Well, yeah, it's in writing. But the funny thing is Jefferson Davis, who was actually the Confederacy president, quote unquote, his game plan was actually to set them free at the end of the war. So you're not taught history the way it actually happened. It's like they made Abraham Lincoln into this godlike figure. And he wasn't a guy. I think he was a good president. I think he was a good man. I think he did what he had to do. And I think he did what he thought would be right in that time period. But they also make Jefferson Davis look like, the devil with horns and everything else, and he really wasn't. He was not. He understood that, you couldn't continue to keep the slaves. It was tides had turned. This needed to be abolished. And like I said, I always tell people, Robert E. Lee freed his slaves long before Ulysses S. Grant did. And Ulysses S. Grant was the next president. But Robert E. Lee literally freed his slaves like halfway through the Civil War. Ulysses S. Grant kept his after the war. They had to threaten him to get rid of his slaves. And his reasoning was not because he loved slavery, but what are they going to do? Where are they going to go? I house them. I feed them.
Yeah.
I take care of their families. What are they going to do?
They're up a creek without a paddle. They really are.
Yep.
They were. For a long time. Sharecropping.
But,
terrible.
Yep. But like I said, it is not what you learn in the history books. What is written down is like some fairy tale propaganda story. The real story is actually much more human, much more interesting. And you can see the dynamics. Like, these were real people, wow. And if I put myself in their time period, yeah, I get what Lincoln was saying. You really, that could go really badly. And as we saw in the South, it did go badly. It went really badly.
Well, what does the Constitution say about revolution? I mean,
it says you are by law. We are, and this was why I protested January 6th. By law, if we know something that the government has been desecrated, that we know that there is, what's the word I'm looking for? If it's been compromised, okay, we are, as citizens of this country, required to stand up. It's not a choice. You are required to. That is what the Constitution states.
Was it the Declaration of Independence?
No, it's in the Constitution. I got to find it in the Constitution, but I know it's in the Constitution. You are required as a citizen.
Was it Thomas Jefferson said that there should be a revolution here every 20 years or something?
Yep.
Just to get rid of the swill up there in D.C. That's all they are, the swill.
Well, and we should not have, like, we have literally dynastic politics here, where you have people in office 50, 60 years. What?
Yeah.
and even after.
And then they're look at the Kennedy family. It was a dynastic thing. I mean, it's crazy. We should never have one family have that much control. Ever. The Bush family, another dynasty. Multiple dynasties within politics.
Check with Mark. He knows all about it in Britain. All those families.
Indeed.
Yeah, actually, we can trace all their bloodlines back to Britain there, Mark, too. So that's like crazy, but it's true. They all go back to England, to the royal family, no less, in England. It's crazy. Which is kind of funny, because the royal family in England, the current royal family, is not really actually a British family. But there's that. That's kind of crazy.
Heresy is Dutch.
Yeah, Dutch and German. Yeah, you guys are not, that royal family is not British. I'm like, they actually changed their name post World War I because it was German. And the people were like, oh, hell no.
Sorry, you misunderstood me. I was talking about George Bush. His dynasty is actually Dutch, I believe.
Don't get me
his
started.
Actually, no. He's got. It's very questionable with his heretic because he had his grandfather was actually in office during World War II. He was a senator. So there's also bloodlines that go into Germany with the Bush family. And they were connected to the Third Reich. I mean, you start chasing their family lines, and you don't. Ugh. It's like, oh man.
Obama related to the royal family?
Yes, Obama and the Bushes are related by blood. And like I said, it's crazy because you think to yourself, you know, we really are the Fourth Reich. We really are. The United States really is the Fourth Reich. I mean, it's crazy, but we are. But with that, I got to take us out of here before we get cut off the air. I know I'm a little bit early, folks, but I'm giving Mark some breathing room before he starts having some palpitations on me, and I can't get to Texas to help him out. But, guys, join us next week for yet another Vixen's Vault. Hopefully we'll have some answers on the David Wilcock situation. Things become a little bit more clarified because that's really got me curious as to what happened there. Again, I'm gonna withhold judgment because I'm not sure he's dead. We did have confirmation from the police department out in Denver, Colorado, but we have not had any confirmation from the coroner. But even if we did, I don't know if I would believe it or accept it because, like I told you at the beginning of the show, lies, and more lies. Lies, and more lies.
And I posted on the wall there, Telegram, what Telegram is saying about it and what he said about it.
She's such a troublemaker tonight, isn't she? Like
I
usually
is.
It's me
distract from Fabio over there.
Oh, she's spicy. Oh, she's spicy.
Mark's like, we got to end this. We got to end this. Stop talking, guys.
All right, guys. Join us next week for yet another fun and exciting version of the Vixen's Vault. And I say version tongue-in-cheek. We're out of here for the night. Have a great week.
Primary objective successful. Shutdown sequence initiated. Shutting down.